What's up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dudes and dudettes? Welcome back to another episode of your potentially favorite Nigerian podcast. Bear with me, your host, General Prime. It has been a while since my last episode, and obviously a lot has happened since I've been away because, been busy with work and life and all the other things that we don't expect that comes our way. But today I have time and I want to, give my opinions, like catch up on things that, have been happening since I was last on here and just give my opinions about them. We've had things like the rapture. Let's start with the rapture, because there are other things that, I'm going to talk about. Like I'm still going to okay. In my last episode, right, I talked about Charlie Kirk and his mother and the unfortunate, how unfortunate it was, right? And I alluded to the fact that maybe it was the Jews or the Israelis that decided to kill him or take him out because I don't know, for reasons best known to them, but I think my take on that is kind of wrong. By the way, my last video was, for some strange reason, incomplete. I don't know. I edited it properly. I did everything that I was supposed to do, like I have always done. But then I uploaded it and it was just incomplete for some strange reason. And I'd already I don't save whenever I edit stuff, I don't save it. So anyways, but it was incomplete, and but the audio is on Spotify. So if you want to listen to everything I said and just listen to everything, you can listen to it on Spotify. But the one I uploaded on YouTube for some strange reason was just incomplete. So forgive me for the mistake. I guess we all make mistakes sometimes. But yeah, I was talking about Charlie Kirk in my previous episode and all the unfortunate events that surround his death. And what I've come to learn is that I don't think it was the Jews. I don't know, it was just a random thing, a random unfortunate gruesome stuff that happened. But the fact, the unfortunate side, the more unfortunate side of it is that there are now people that have taken it upon themselves to continue to grift about it, continue to use it as an advantage, use it to propel themselves into relevancy, to propel themselves and to keep themselves in a state of relevance. You understand? Like people like Candace Owens, she's taking it upon herself to continue to talk about it and just grift on it. And it's unfortunate that somebody like Charlie Kirk, right, found himself. In my previous episode, I talked about how he was just a small fish swimming in a big pool. It turns out that his wife, I don't know if you've been online lately, if you've been paying attention to the new things that have been coming out concerning his life and his death. It turns out that his wife, he didn't meet his wife based on love, or they didn't meet organically. They didn't meet naturally. It turns out that it was kind of like an arranged marriage, and his wife is somebody that is somehow connected to the government, somehow connected to the deep state, basically. And from what we've been seeing, right, she doesn't look like somebody that is mourning. She doesn't sound and act and behave like somebody who has lost her husband, somebody who has lost somebody that she actually deeply cared about and loved. She seems like from what we are seeing, she has just gone about her life like nothing actually happened. She has taken over. She's talking about trying to take over the Turning Point, company. And she's just behaving like somebody that's the way she behaves, you won't even think that she lost her husband. You understand? So it's the more news now, more information that's coming out is that she's connected to the deep state. She used to have this NGO where she cared for orphans. It's just so complicated and it's just so weird, right? So it's kind of sad that he found himself in such situation where he was eating with the devil with a short fork, right? He didn't know he didn't know where he was. Basically, he was just a pawn. He was just a pawn, just doing the devil's bidding. And unfortunately for him, it got him Like it ended badly for him. So it's just sad now that he has become this odd image. He has been memed to infinity. Like people are just like his last moments on earth has become a meme, right, bro? Yeah, I don't know if you've seen memes of him, like his last moment, his very last moment on earth, where he was like, I don't, bro. It's sad, man. He's fucked up. He's just fucked up. He's just fucked up that this guy didn't know what he was doing. He didn't ever think that stuff like that would happen to him. And his entire life was a lie. His entire life was a simulation. His entire life was engineered. I don't know. He's just like remember in Andor, right? He's just like the character Cyril in Andor. Like his whole life has been this. He's been this useful idiot, this useful pawn, and then at the end of the day, he finds out that there has been a bigger play. Like he was being used to, facilitate something larger than himself. And in the real world, it ended very badly for him. Like I've said before, like whoever it is that is bioengineering all of this chaos is doing a fantastic, howbeit morbid, ghoulish job. Because the way we are so divided right now is unfathomable. So it's sad that this is how Charlie Kirk's legacy and more things are coming out about him. I know in my previous episode I talked about how he was not a racist. Actually, the guy was a racist. He was not a good person, and it's sad that they're trying to put him on the level of Martin Luther King or Malcolm X. Like they are just trying to like make him this prominent figure. They're trying to the white racists, the white supremacists, the white nationalists are trying to put him on the level of Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, and he's just so fake. And this is his legacy. Sad, man. Sad that this is his legacy. But that's about that, by the way. Next thing I want to talk about is the just concluded missed rapture. If you're among the Christians that thought that you're actually going to get, raptured, taken into heaven, flown into heaven, leave this planet, as in, what does that say? Like, how do you feel now that it didn't actually happen? How do you feel? Like, what do you think about yourself? Like, if you're part of the people that genuinely believed that there was going to be a rapture because some South African fucking prophet said it online and prophesied and claimed that Jesus or God told him that there was going to be a rapture on the 23rd, was it 23rd and 24th of September? Like, if you're part of the people that were actually waiting on the rapture to happen, selling your stuff, giving money away, some people went as far as like giving their children to CPS to take care of. Like, if you're part of those people, first of all, for you to think that your children won't be raptured with you, like that's a different kind of stupidity. That's a different level of human stupidity. For you to think that, as in, for you to have the audacity and the gall to believe that you're so righteous and you're so sanctimonious and you're so higher than everybody else and you're so, you're like assistant Jesus, basically, that your little children who are supposed to be the innocent, who are supposed to be the meek, who are supposed to be, who are supposed to be like still in the image of God, basically, won't be raptured with you. Like, this is to show you how stupid human beings can get. I always talk about how humanity is still in its infancy, right? Like, for example, if humanity is a person, humanity would still be like a teenager, like basically a 12-year-old, because you know how teenagers can be so impulsive. Teenagers are usually very, very stupid. But and that's just basically where we, regardless of how far we have come, regardless of how how old human evolution is, at the end of the day we are still like in our infant stage. We are still evolving, we are still growing, and we don't know a lot. You understand? We don't know a lot. That's why it's very easy for scammers, or it's very easy for people to take advantage of us. It's very easy for us to fall prey to scammers. And so all these Christians that believed genuinely in their hearts that they were going to get raptured on the 23rd and 24th of last month because some prophet said that it was going to happen. My question now to you is that, how do you now feel about yourselves? Like, what do you now have to think about yourself, about your belief system, about yourself as an individual, as a person? Like, are you just going to go about your life thinking that it's not going to happen, like, just because it didn't happen? Like, are you just going to go about your life just not thinking anything about it. Even there are some people that even said that because the calendar was wrong, and so because the calendar was wrong, it's actually going to happen on the 7th of October, which was yesterday, and it still didn't happen. Like, there are people that apologized for being wrong about the rapture and said that they were not going to talk about it again because now they're going to adhere to what the Bible says, that nobody knows when it's going to happen. But then when they heard that the calendar was wrong, they changed their mind, and they hopped on the bandwagon of it's going to still happen on the 7th of October. And the 7th of October has come and gone, and nothing still has happened. Like, as in, if Albert Einstein said something that's profound. He said, like, there are two things that are infinite in this world. There are two things that are infinite: human stupidity and the universe. And he's not sure about the universe, because, like, human stupidity is something that I've been actually thinking about for a while. And it's kind of fascinating if you actually think about, like, what is it about human stupidity that has endured this long? Because if you're talking about, like, human stupidity in relation to evolution, right? It's in relation to our evolutionary progress and process. Like, why is human stupidity so essential? You understand? Why is it that, like, it has endured? Like, there are things that, evolution is all about discarding what does not matter and what is not, essential, and what is not important, for things that are important and things that are essential and things that can help us to survive and be better. That is basically what evolution is. And then, but there are things that I see or I've noticed about evolution that, it's still, like, regardless of how bad it is and regardless of how redundant and regressive it is, evolution still carries it along with us. Things like dwarfism, right? Things like Down syndrome, things like human stupidity. These are things that I cannot for the life of me imagine why it will still be important to our evolutionary process and progress. So I don't know, somebody should try to, like, make me understand why human stupidity is still a thing. Like, why we are still so stupid, why people are still so fucking gullible. Because this whole rapture thing was something that was so profound to me, and it's not the first. Obviously, it's not the first time that it's happening. Like, there have been hundreds of other, prophecies about rapture, other claims that there will be rapture, and none of them have come to pass. And yet, Christians still don't want to understand that they are being, taken advantage of. Christians still don't want to understand that. Like, the whole thing to me is astounding. Like, you see videos of people selling their cars. Do you understand? You see videos of people giving their things out, writing down notes. And do you know another thing that baffles me? Like, people are so sure of themselves. People are so reassuring of themselves. People are so full of themselves. People feel that they are so righteous that they know. They know for a fact that if rapture comes today, that they are going to get carried. They are going to get taken. They are going to be raptured. They are going to be, like, lifted. As in, people are so full of themselves. That is one that scatters my mind. That scatters my brain. See, not all Christians, like Christians think that, like, as in, not all Christians, if heaven exists. First of all, I don't even actually believe that heaven exists. I believe that heaven and hell are here on earth. But in the biblical sense, right? Not all Christians are going to make heaven. That is just the fact about it. Not all Christians are going to make heaven. People are so prideful. People are so egotistical. People are so, sanctimonious. People are so, like, so fucking full of themselves. And you see them, as in, like, it was very, very surprising and shocking to me that, like, people were actually selling their things and getting ready and crying and, like, bro, people are weird, dude. Like, you see people, like, being so sure that they're going to make heaven, giving their things, giving their children out, giving their children and their pets away. Like, how about the saying that all dogs go to heaven? Like, did people just forget that all dogs go to heaven? Like, why would you give your pets away? Why would you give your children away? Why would you give money? I understand, yes, material things. I understand that people were foolish enough to sell their cars. Like, why are you even selling your car? Like, what will you now need the money? What will you use the money for? Like, It's baffling, man. It's so fucked up. Anyways, the rapture didn't happen, and we're still here on Earth. And there were people that were talking about how they will get raptured, and they were leaving notes for what to do and how not to like accept the mark of the beast. That is just to show you again, like I said before, that the Christians don't know, as in they don't really actually know what is written in their Bible. Like they think that the mark of the beast is an actual mark, right? They think that the mark of the beast is something that, something like a literal 666 on their heads. The mark of the beast is something that, to the best of my understanding or to the best of what I've observed this life to be, is something that people will yearn for, people will long for, people will beg to have, regardless of if you're a Christian or a Buddhist or an atheist or a Muslim, whatever. The mark of the beast is something that people will long for. People cannot, as in when you hear the Bible talk about how if you don't have the mark of the beast, you're literally going to die. You're literally, as in, it's not like they're going to kill. As in, it's something that will be so essential to our everyday life that if you don't have it, you're going to be left behind. If you don't have it, you're literally going to die. Things like your bank accounts, things like your data about you, things like your phone, things like housing, things that are so essential to us. And it brings me to this. Am I the only one that has observed or noticed that newer things right now are worse than old ones? Like the new iPhone 17 just came out, obviously, and everybody is like, I'm kind of happy that people are waking up to the fact that all these new products are scams, and all these new products are designed to spoil quickly so that we can buy more, and designed to collect data from us. You understand? Like the new currency right now is data, information. Information is like the most valuable currency. That's why the powers that be no longer care about the, inflation of actual currency, like inflation of the dollar, inflation of the pound, inflation of the naira. They don't really care about the conventional money that we are used to, because to them that's not important anymore. The real value right now is our data. Real value right now is information. That's why they are doing everything possible, everything in their power to be able to get every information about you, so that they can sell to you, so that they can sell that information to other companies that will sell stuff to you. That's why, like, it's kind of astounding, and it's kind of scary. Not even scary, it's kind of fascinating to observe and to look at, to me, now that you see things like they just announced now, Sony just announced that, or is it Sony or Samsung just announced that their new fridges, all these refrigerators that have screens on them, will now be showing adverts. Like we have gotten to the point where we now have we now have what they call apocalypse. There are adverts every fucking where. You cannot escape adverts anymore. Like there are adverts everywhere. They want to sell you. Like they are doing everything they can to sell stuff to you. They are doing everything they can to get your attention. Like there are even cars. Like I saw this post where the screens on Jeeps are also like showing ads. Like imagine you driving and then there's an ad on your screen. As in, what happened to focusing on the road? Do you understand? Like what happened to not using your phone while driving? Like that used to be a thing, right? There used to be cautions about using your phone, using phones while driving. But these days now, like that one, although those ones now have been thrown out of the window, like they're now like showing you adverts while you're driving. They now have like, there's this patent I saw where they'll scan the billboards while you're driving, and then the ads on the billboard to be shown to you on your screen while like everything. It's getting to a point where it's best to just go back to the old stuff. Like everything new. Has anybody else observed that everything new sucks? From music to housing to new technology to phones to clothing to like food, everything new. Anything that is new right now, anything that claims to be new, everything new just sucks. Old music is better than new music. Like if you look at a house that was built like 20 years ago or 30 years ago, 50 years ago, Those houses are solid. They are well built. They are, as in, they are like if you look at the house that was built 30 years ago, the kind of architecture, the kind of design, or everything about it just feels so solid, feels so intentional, feels like it feels like it's going to carry, as in it's going to last for a very long time. But if you compare to houses that are built, that have been built recently, they look so bland, they look so simplistic, they look so minimalist. They just look bland. They look so low effort. Like they just did it for convenience sake. Like there's nothing really cool about the house. There's nothing really enthusiastic about the house, yet it's very expensive. If you listen to music from the past, like even for example, now let's look at hip hop, right? If you listen to old hip hop songs, like they used to be, catchy, they used to be meaningful, they used to be like there was vibe, there was sauce to them. But the things that we have now, the kind of music that we listen to right now, are just TikTok music that have been programmed to be picked up by the algorithm, so that they can blow on TikTok. If you compare old cars to new cars, like for example now, cars that were designed in the 70s, you understand, in the 60s and 70s, in the 60s basically, you see that those cars had like style to them. Those cars had flair. They had fun. Like they were well designed. They were properly designed. Cars that were designed in the 90s. You understand? All these, like, as in they are so iconic and they last for a very long time. For example, now look at the 4Runner, right? Like these are cars that just last. They were made with intention. You understand? But the cars that we have today, they're just bland. Everything just looks so fake. Everything just looks so sad. Everything just looks so, like low effort. Basically, that's all I can say. That is the best word I can use to describe it. Low effort. Everything looks like they're not even trying. They're just designed so that they don't last long. You just drive them for a few miles and then they spoil, and so that you can buy another one. My question now is this, right? If the rich, because all these companies, all these corporations, they are doing everything in their power to squeeze out the little money that we are trying to save, right? The little money that we work, as in we get, they're trying to like squeeze it out of us so that they themselves can have it. My question now is this, right? If all these companies eventually take the money, because you have to understand now, what I've observed again is that people are no longer buying stuff. If you go to car lots, like if you go to the car dealerships, you see cars littered everywhere. Nobody's buying anything again. Like phones have become so unnecessarily expensive. Like the iPhone 17 that just came out now, only idiots are buying it basically, because the iPhone 17 is just the same thing as the 16, which is also the same thing as the 15, which is essentially the same thing as the 14, right? Everything, like I've talked about this before. Like if we like innovate based on necessity, if we innovate based on necessity and not based on greed, corporate greed, and trying to please your shareholders, I think we would still be like the current phone we will have right now will be the iPhone 6 or highest the iPhone 7, but with iPhone 17 technology. Like just imagine the iPhone 17, but it's not called the iPhone 17, it's actually called the iPhone 7. That is if we are innovating based on necessity. You understand? So my question now is, because everything has become so unnecessarily expensive and they are trying to like squeeze out the little money that people have just so that they can have it to themselves. My question now is this: when they've like squeezed out all the money, like when they've like taken everybody's money, when the billionaires have all the money, like when they've eventually successfully gotten like absorbed all the money for themselves, what next? Like what would be the next thing to do? Because don't they understand that when nobody, like for example now in Nigeria, right? Let me just give this example. In Nigeria, things have gotten so bad that people no longer go to the supermarket to buy stuff in Nigeria. Like things have gotten so bad in Nigeria. Nigeria is a topic that I want to talk about. Like I want to dedicate proper time to talk about. But let me just give this example. Let me just make this example clear. Like things have gotten so bad in Nigeria that people no longer go to the supermarkets to buy stuff. If you go to like shopping malls, they're usually very empty. Like they're usually just they look so apocalyptic. Like everywhere is just empty, nobody's buying anything, everywhere is just sad. And another thing again I've noticed about Nigeria is that if you go online, if you go on like Nigerian TikTok, not Nigerian TikTok, Nigerian Twitter, right? Go online and just like try to like look at all that is coming out of Nigeria. I've said this before, and I've said that I'm going to like dedicate an episode to it. There is literally nothing good coming out of Nigeria. Like absolutely, there is no good news coming out of Nigeria. It's all sad news. It's all bad news. It's all things are just disheartening news. You understand? So when all these rich people, when all these billionaires have finally like as in grabbed and absorbed all the money, all the cash and all the wealth to themselves, like what next? Like what will be the next thing? Because when nobody can buy anything again, like don't they understand that it's going to affect them also? Like money is supposed, the idea of money is that it's supposed to be in rotation, not being hoarded by one like a very tiny group of people. You understand? It's supposed to be in circulation, it's supposed to be in rotation, it's supposed to be moving around. That's what the whole idea of money is. But if a tiny sect and an insignificant group of people just like keep it to themselves, eventually it's going to be like, it's not going to like have any value anymore. Basically, it's not going to have any value. So we are seeing it now that nobody is buying anything. Nobody is buying anything, and the things that they keep selling to people are things that we don't actually need. Imagine having a fridge, a refrigerator that has a screen on it, and the screen has been like this refrigerator quote unquote has AI, and the AI is programmed to tell you the things that are inside your fridge, and like that does not make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense to me, bro. Why will my fridge see another thing again I have to like talk about is that if you're among the people that like you're this hyper consumer, you understand, like you just want to have the latest things just so you can brag to your friends and brag to people online or whatever that you have the latest stuff. Like you're just a fool, because why will you want to have a fridge that has a screen? I don't know if anybody has seen like videos of all these refrigerators from the past, like from the 60s and 70s and 80s, and how cool and how like as in creatively designed they look. You understand how fine they are and how timeless and classic they are, and they still work. Why will I want my fridge to have Wi-Fi or AI? Like if I want to know what's in the fridge, it's just to simply open the fridge and then look for myself. Like why will I want my fridge to have a screen? It doesn't make any sense. That's why these people keep selling, because they know that a lot of people don't have sense. That is to go back to this idea of human tonic stupidity, right? They know that a lot of people don't have sense. They know that people are so unhappy that the way that they can feel that the way that a lot of people can feel a hint of happiness and just feel something is that if they have the latest products. And so they keep refining and rehashing all this old thing and just like slapping new fucking faces on it and selling it to you, and slapping new bigger screens on it and then reselling it to you for. You even see there's something now they call dynamic pricing, where a product like the same product will have two different prices on the same website. Basically on Amazon, you see one product having two different prices just because you know that there are people who they are just idiots with money, basically, who just want to buy for the sake of buying. We have now gotten to this hyper consumerist state where people buy just to feel alive. People buy not even only because they want to like brag to their friends, because people are so unhappy, people are so unfulfilled, people are so like sad and they're not reaching their high potential, and just the one of the ways they feel like they can feel something in their soul is just to buy. And it's sad that like things are just getting worse. So my advice is just to go back to the old things. Old things are better. They when they were built, they had intention to them, and They were built to last. New things today are not built to last. Old things were built to last. Old things were built to carry, as in to carry for a long time. Even movies, bro. New movies that are coming out are just bad. Like everything, like the new movies that are coming out are just bad. Like I always use Children of Men as a benchmark, as a threshold, as a blueprint to, judge every other movie ever. This is a movie that came out in like 2008, and to me, nothing has beat it. Like the movie Children of Men is like the most profound, the most deepest, as in like the best movie I've ever seen in my life. But yet, there hasn't been anything since then that have topped it. In my opinion, in my books, man, there hasn't been anything since then that has been deeper and more profound and richer. Like if you look at the movie, like the movie is so rich in production, so rich in creativity, so rich in just everything, in storytelling, in acting, in just choreography. Everything about the movie, bro, is so grand and so like you can watch it over and over and over again, and you keep finding new things, you keep seeing more things. That's just to show you how perfect this movie is. But if you look at movies that are being made today, they're just so fake and so bland and so forgettable and just so immemorable. Like movies today, like just go back and watch old movies. I'm telling you, bro, the old things are better. Old things are better than the new ones. Even the AI, bro. ChatGPT 5 is worse than GPT 4. Like this is how bad it has gotten. Imagine that ChatGPT 5 is worse than GPT 4. Like how? Like how does that happen, bro? How does that happen? Explain it to me. So yeah, that's that about that. That's all I have to say. If you want to be happy, bro, go outside and touch grass. And you don't have to be a hyper consumer to feel something in yourself. You don't have to be a hyper consumer to feel alive. Just stick to the things, the old things that you've always had. And like buying new things, for example, now this new iPhone 17 that came out is absolutely unnecessary. It doesn't make any sense. Like if everybody can just like come together and decide that we're not going to like buy new things. And if there can be like a website where people go to petition not to buy new stuff until you see that these people will stop. Either they will reduce prices, or they will like they won't be churning out new stuff every fucking year. Like it doesn't make sense that we keep having new iPhones every fucking year, new phones every year. Like who are the people that are buying all these things? That's another question I usually ask, right? Like, who are the people that keep buying all these things? Look at this. See, another thing we have to understand is this, right? In movies, how in like apocalyptic movies, right? When there's an apocalypse and everywhere gets destroyed, or zombies take over the entire world, and like everything is just like destroyed and stuff like that. And they always show, as in like, everywhere, just like everybody seems to not have anything again. Like everybody, like people, things become very scarce. But in reality, actually, if there's like a zombie apocalypse today, right? I feel like we have enough. Like humanity has enough. We have enough phones. We have enough clothes. We have enough clothes to last billions of lifetimes. Like we don't need to produce clothes again. You understand? We don't need to produce clothes anymore. Like everybody has enough clothes to last them for like thousands of years. We don't need to produce shoes anymore. We don't need to produce cars anymore. Like there are more cars than people. So we don't need the car. Like if you go to parking, like all these like dealerships, right? You see cars littered literally everywhere, and nobody is buying them because nobody has the money to buy them, because they're just being sold for outrageous prices. We don't need to like buy more stuff because we have like everything that we can possibly need, right? Even if there is an apocalypse, even if the war, like even if like there's a zombie apocalypse, even if like there's a fucking like something just bad just happens to the planet, right? Everything that we can possibly need, we already have. So more stuff is not going to make us happy. You understand? Like trying to like gather and gain more stuff is not going to make anybody happy because we already have everything. So I feel like the best way now, or the best way to move forward now, is to try to like come up with another means of, because we've gotten to like, we've gotten to late stage capitalism. Like I never imagined that this whole idea of capitalism can eventually come to an end. I always thought that it is just a normal thing that, it's just part of how the economics of life is supposed to pan out. You understand? Like, obviously things like communism and Marxism and all of these other isms don't actually work. You understand? Capitalism is the best one that, to the best of our understanding, can work. But I never expected, or I never thought that it would eventually come to an end. It will eventually get to a point where it will no longer work. Because we have gotten to that point. We have gotten to the point right now where capitalism is no longer working now, and we're now entering the stage of somebody called it, I don't know, is it called dataism, where data is new currency. Information right now is new currency, and whoever, like, that's why all these like AI companies are doing their best to try to like get every information about you, and whoever has the ability to wield everybody's information will be the most powerful force in the world. We have enough things to last us like several lifetimes, and the best way we can like be happy, or the best way we can move forward, is if we can pivot to another type of or form of capitalism, or another form of economic progress that can benefit humanity. Like late stage capitalism is something that can be reversed. You understand? We can it's something that can be revised and look as in reversed, because the way these corporations are going about it, right? I don't know why they don't understand that it's going to get to an abrupt end where it will be so detrimental to not only us but to them also. Like, I don't understand how they don't see it. Like, is it that they've been so blinded and clouded by greed that they don't know that? Like, how do they not know, bro? How are they not aware with all of their fucking analytics and all of the education that they've gathered and all of the information that they have and all of the school that they've attended? Like, how are they not aware, and how do they not know that greed is just bad? Like, greed is detrimental. Like, greed is not it at all. Like, how are you as a corporate fucking figure or corporate head, how is it that you don't know that the more money you like hoard for yourself, the more disastrous it's going to be in the long run? Like, I don't get it, man. Like, this is why I keep saying that our world has been invaded by some sort of alien demons, because these alien demons, they don't actually know what it is to be human. They don't actually know what humanity is all about. They have all the data about us. They have all the information about us. They know how to pretend to be us, but they don't actually know what the core, the foundational thing about humanity. They don't actually understand it. They don't have the concept of it. That's why they like, it is easy for them here to put themselves in positions of power. It's easy for them to be world leaders and heads of corporations, and just to like be greedy and get more power and more wealth and that and that and that. But at the end of the day, they don't actually know what it is to be human. That's why they're just fucking up left and right. That's why you see that most of the people in power, most of the presidents, most of the fucking CEOs, they're just like greedy and just bad and just corrupt for just unnecessarily. That's that about that, man. I hope things turn around. Like, I really hope things turn around. I really hope that we eventually figure out that the people that are in power are not humans. Like, yeah, this might sound like a conspiracy theory, but in actuality, the truth is that they're actually really not humans. For real. Because if they were humans, they would understand that this is not how it's supposed to be. This is not how it's supposed to go. Yeah, that's that, man. So anyways, thank you guys for chilling with me. Thank you for giving me your listening ears. If you listened to up to this moment, up to this point, let me know in the comments. Drop your likes and drop your comments, and follow me on Twitter at GeneralPrime11, and also subscribe to the YouTube channel, and I don't know, all of those jazz, man. I don't think that anybody actually listened to this point. So, who cares? I'm doing this for myself, man. I'm doing this because I enjoy doing it. I'm doing this because I love doing it. I'm doing this because it's actually my hobby, and not because I imagine that anybody would actually listen to this point. But if you happen to, let me know by leaving an actual comment. Like if you actually listened to these points, let me know by leaving a comment, and that's how I will know. But I actually don't think that anybody would do this. So yeah, that's not about that, man. So thank you guys for chilling with me. Thank you for giving me your listening ears, and I'll talk to you guys later. All right, bye everybody.